That's right. That's where you're at. We're broadcasting from the Blue Ribbon Pelham Water Studio at 612 South 32nd Street here in Fort Dodge. You may contact Blue Ribbon Pelham Waters by calling 576-6481. You know, I rarely have younger people call the show. Some of the ways that we have to judge who's listening, I see I have some, not an overwhelming percentage, but some younger listeners, believe it or not. And some time ago, I used a research device that showed that most of my listeners were women between the age of 40 and 50. So I was glad of that. So if you are a young people, if you are a young people, if you are a young person, please pay attention just a minute because I have a favor to ask you. I'd like you to answer a question. Do you approve of some of the transgender bathroom bills that have been introduced and passed at state level? Do you believe that an 8-year-old boy should be subject to his mother's desire to turn him into a girl? Because I don't think an 8-year-old boy, and this is a true case in Texas, where there is a divorced couple with an 8-year-old boy, and the mother is hell bent to turn her 8-year-old son into a boy. And by the way, the judge in Texas, now this isn't California or some other law like Massachusetts or whatever. This is in, by God, Texas, that a judge let this woman retain custody of her 8-year-old child. So let's say if you're under the age of 35, please give me a call at 955-1400 and give me your impression of these recent moves in the area of transgender rights. Again, 955-1400. I will not argue with you. I will not question your assertions. I will not do that. I'm just interested in maybe my attitude. I'm sure this is generational. Sam Clovis and I were talking about it in the last hour. Then when it comes to transgender rights and even gay rights, there's a certain generational divide. Because I know my son, even though he's kind of a hard-bitten kid, veteran of the Marine Corps, 2 tours in Iraq, Purple Heart winner, and all awarded the Purple Heart. No, you don't really win the Purple Heart. You get wounded and they give it to you. But my son and his friends are very much on board with gay marriage, and were years ago. And they, you know, a lot of guys my age, most of my friends still go, gay marriage. But we're old dudes. We're the checkout generation, you know. So I just would like to get a feel of how younger people feel here in Fort Dodge and the entire listening area, whether you're over in Manson. I got a lot of listeners in Manson, by the way. So thank God for Manson. Rockwell City, wherever it is, please give me a call, 955-1400 on how you feel about that. And I would encourage, and I will encourage in the future, younger people. By younger, again, I mean under the age of 35. Younger people to give me their point of view about cultural issues and social issues of our time. I want to represent everyone here, or at least I don't know if represents the right word. I want to allow every segment of society on the air. You know, and I wonder if there's a difference between young black people and young white people on this issue. By the way, I heard Rob Jones' newscast where the Al Wombley, was that his name? Who was the head of the Iowa Black Caucus in the House of Representatives. I think that's his title, and I think that's his job. Anyway, he said he wanted to see a black person representing in almost every city or town in the state. So get ready, Otho and Badger. Okay, let's get ready over there. Let's get a black person on your city council, Badger, or Humboldt, or any of those places. Humboldt, by the way, has a lot of well, I wouldn't say Mexican, but Hispanic people living in Humboldt. And I'm unaware if Humboldt has any Hispanics as on the county board of supervisors, board of education, or school board, or on the city council. If they don't, I'll be all over you. I'm just, I'm sure that anybody who's familiar with Iowa understands. We have a lot of little towns and villages, beautiful places in some cases, rundown little abandoned farm towns and other places. But they all have warm, friendly people, but they're barely incorporated. So I may be misrepresenting what the man said. I don't know, but it struck me as funny. Every town in Iowa would have black representation because they're between here and Sioux City. Not a lot of black people. I don't know why black people want to live out there. I don't know why white people want to live out there, but they do. In 2018, let me give you this. In 2018, speaking of discrimination, I know anti-Catholic discrimination perhaps is not as virulent and harmful as racial prejudice based on ethnic background. But to my mind, hate and discrimination don't have a political party. In 2018, in December of 2018, Kamala Harris, then a senator, a Democratic senator, and Mazie Hirono, also a Democratic senator from Hawaii, and an absolute head case, grilled Brian C. Busher, a nominee to a district judge seat in Nebraska. They grilled him about his membership in a controversial organization, the Knights of Columbus. You hear that, fellow Knights? You're a member of a suspect organization. This leads me to believe, again, if a Catholic political figure tells you that they are Catholic, question that immediately, because you cannot be let me rephrase that. If a Democratic politician tells you they're observant Catholic, call them on it immediately, because it can't be true. It just can't be true. You cannot believe deeply in the Catholic faith and be a member of the Democratic Party with the party platform as it is today. It's just, I mean, if the Knights of Columbus are suspect to a woman who's now the Vice President of the United States, where does that leave Catholics, or where does that leave us in general? 955-1400, 955-1400 is my name. Not my name, it's my number. By the time the 4 o'clock hour gets here, I get a little punchy.
Hi. This is Carly from Frontier. We would like to talk to you. Please call our office at 1-800-921-8105.
Well, I would like to talk to Frontier. No, I wouldn't. Thank you very much. Wouldn't like to do it. I don't know why they're calling me on my own personal version of the request line. At least it wasn't anybody checking on my car warranty, because I get emails and cell phone calls all the time about my car warranty. I got 50,000 miles on a 6-year-old car. Give me a break. Give me a break. Wow. By the way, also in December of 2018, the 11th Circuit Judge Rosemary Barkett, ruling for a Florida appellate court on Florida's speedy trial rule, generally provides, by the way, Florida's speedy trial rule generally provides that every person charged with a felony shall be brought to trial within 180 days of the charge, or be forever protected from prosecution on that charge. Under an express exception to the rule is a person who is incarcerated in a jail or a correctional institution outside the jurisdiction of the state of Florida. And it's not entitled to the benefit of this rule until that person returns or is returned to the jurisdiction of the court while the Florida charge is pending. Judge Barkett ruled that the 180-day period for a person who had been charged with bank robbery in Florida ran while he was incarcerated in California. And she reads into that exception that additional requirement that a person have been incarcerated on charges pending in another state. 2 years later, the Florida Supreme Court unanimously reversed Judge Barkett's ruling. The language concludes, it's without ambiguity. Clearer language than this is difficult to envision. Kind of like the Defense of Marriage Act. Yet the lower courts put a gloss on it. That would be Judge Barkett, unwarranted by anything that appears in the speedy trial resolution. In another case, in a lengthy historical case, Silveria versus Lockyer, 9th District Judge Stephen Reinhardt concluded that the Second Amendment does not confer any individual right to own or possess any firearms, but instead affords only a collective right. Liberals are very big on the collectivization stuff. Let's have a lot of group things, shall we? Let's all think alike and dress alike and talk alike. No Catholics, please. No Catholics, please. A dissenting judge says that judges know very well how to read the Constitution broadly when they are sympathetic to the right being asserted. When a particular right comports especially well with our notions of good social policy, because apparently that's all we've got going for us is notions of good social policy. That, of course, was the underlying principle and premise of the Varnum decision. We just think it's a good idea, so we're going to do it. And then we're going to say that Iowa has a long history of being wonderful. It's nonsense, of course, but it went all the way to the United States Supreme Court. Varnum wasn't challenged all the way to the Supreme Court, but gay rights, gay marriage was. And Judge Kennedy, after publicly talking about how dangerous it would be to change something like marriage after 2 millennia, change the very character and definition of marriage that had survived the test of 2 millennia, is a basic foundational block of our civilization. Judge Kennedy, nonetheless, under pressure from country club liberals, ruled that gay marriage go forward as a 5-4 decision. In other words, we the people had no business even talking about a decision like this, because the judiciary are our masters, and you can believe that. Montana trial judge Dorothy McCarter rules that the provisions of the Montana Constitution that the dignity of the human being is inviolable and set forth a right of individual privacy confers a constitutional right to physicians-assisted suicide. Check out that reasoning. This is some judge in Montana. Now, Montana is a beautiful state, but it's even less sparsely populated than Iowa is. Never mind that there is a specific restriction on assisted suicide in the Montana Constitution. Nonetheless, this judge decided that yes, there is such a right. Supreme Court will decline to ratify the judge's decision. Federal District Judge William also filed in the Supreme Court his own brief disputing the federal government's motion for a stay of his order that would have required it to disclose all documents bearing on its rescission of the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrival, the DACA policy. 2 weeks later, in a unanimous opinion, the court will grant the government's motion. These are real judges with real power. Real judges with real power over our lives, the lives of our wives, husbands, children, grandchildren, and we have granted them the power, or actually they have taken it. They have taken it and asserted it, and we have stood by like sheep. As somebody like these judges that I've just described to you can actually affect our lives, and judges here in Iowa are in the same boat, up to the same thing. I don't know. I fear for our country. I fear for our country with these flaky people in charge, with a president like Joe Biden, who can stand by while thousands are killed in Afghanistan. He was in such a hurry to pull an Obama and hit the trail in the Middle East because Obama always talked about how we were, we were too invested in the Middle East, just too invested. I mean, like it or not, the Middle East controls oil for most of the world, but we're too invested in the safety and security of peace and stability. Obama, that was just too much for Obama. It was taking too much money away from his social policies. Social policies, like, well, I guess Obama came out, and this speaks well of him, I think, with a video not long ago telling some of his fellow Democrats to shut up about defunding the police. It's a terrible idea. Of course, he was much more eloquent than I am. But that's essentially what he said. Will you shut up? You're embarrassing, and stop talking about socialism. It's not doing anybody any good. I would think at long last that some Democrats are finally trying to stand up to the lunatic fringe in their own party. And I would include Nancy Pelosi in the lunatic fringe. So that's good news. The bad news is that we still have Democrats in government. It's 4:29. News is coming up.
Water grows since 1949. Who would have thought there'd be entire aisles devoted to bottled water? And people would buy more water than pop. I'm Brian with Blue Ribbon Pelham Waters here in Fort Dodge. Spring water, drinking water, mineral water. There's so many choices, and we're proud to offer you them all. From our own refreshingly pure drinking water to ultra pure Mountain Valley spring water, Blue Ribbon Pelham's is your complete water store.
Your news, your town, your station. KBFD News when it breaks.
With your KBFD News update, I'm Rob Jones. A reported explosion over the weekend destroyed a home in Hamilton County. The incident occurred Sunday night around 9 p.m. at a home just outside of Duncan. The residence was reportedly unoccupied during the explosion, and no injuries were reported in the incident. Multiple fire departments and sheriff's offices were on the scene responding on Sunday night. The cause of the explosion has not yet been determined. A Black Leadership Summit was held here in Fort Dodge late last week. The summit took place Friday night at the APHIS headquarters. The summit featured various speakers, including the chair of the Iowa Democratic Black Caucus, Al Womble.
My goal is to have every Black community in this state have a Black elected official representative, and that's my goal. We are no longer sitting on the sidelines. That we are the citizens that are there representing our community.
Fort Dodge native and newly hired track coach at Fort Dodge Senior High, Quanell McCaleb, announced Friday night that he's looking to take his leadership role a step further.
Today, I picked up papers from the city council all over the city at large. Now that that is to be a Black leader in my community.
Charles Clayton organized and hosted the event. He talked about the progress the Fort Dodge community has made over the last year plus.
We got to have all sides involved in this. Everybody's got to be on that. The stronger the Black community of Fort Dodge and Iowa becomes, the stronger the whole community becomes. It's only a win-win for our community and for our state.
Video clips of the speeches from Al Womble and Charles Clayton are available in an article. My city council person has announced their bid for re-election. Lydia Shear will seek re-election to her second term as an at-large member of the Fort Dodge City Council. She's the communications specialist with the Greater Fort Dodge Growth Alliance. In a statement announcing her re-election bid, Shear said, quote, "I've learned a lot while serving my first term on the Fort Dodge City Council. Fort Dodge is a great place to live, and I would like an opportunity to continue working towards progress and growth in our community," end quote. For KBFD from the Jerry Sheever Newsroom, I'm Rob Jones.
Here's a look at how the markets closed today. September corn down 4 3/4 at 5.50 1/4. December down 2 3/4 at 5.53 3/4. March corn down 3 at 5.61 3/4, and May down 3 at 5.66
August soybeans up 11 and a half, 14.33 3/4. September down 2 3/4 at 13.41 and a half. November down 7 at 13.29 3/4. January down 7 1/4 at 13.34. In the wheat trade, Chicago down 7 3/4 at 7.11 1/4. Soybean meal up 80 cents a ton at 3.59.60. August live cattle unchanged to 123. October down 40 cents at 127.47. August feeders down 55 to 159.30. September down 12 to 163.20. August.
This is AM 1400 KBFD, the voice for Dodge. It's 4:33, 86 degrees. I'm Michael Devine with the weather forecast. Could get up to 89 or 90 degrees for a high. Again, we're 86 right now. Overnight, mostly clear with a low around 70. Tomorrow, a chance of rain, mostly sunny with a high of 90. Wednesday, sunny with a high of 91. Thursday, sunny with a high of 90. Friday, sunny with a high of 82. Saturday, sunny with a high of 83. And Sunday, sunny with a high of 84. No precipitation in the forecast. Unfortunately, that's going to be bad. It could be bad for our farmers. 86 degrees right now at AM 1400 KBFD, the voice of Fort Dodge.
I'm Charles Payne, and this is the Fox Business Report.
Stocks finished mixed with energy companies posting some of the biggest losses as oil prices fell on concerns that the Delta variant of the coronavirus would compromise the global recovery and hit travel. The Dow falling 107 points, the Nasdaq up 24, S&P 500 down 4. And shares of Moderna hitting an all-time high, rising 17% after the biotech said its COVID-19 vaccine was granted a provisional authorization for adults who are at least 18 years old. And shares of Tyson Foods jumped almost 9% after delivering an upbeat quarter. The company is also raising its forecast for the year due to strong demand for its beef products. And with the price of chicken soaring, Sanderson Farms has agreed to be acquired by Cargill, an agriculture investment firm, Continental Grain, for over $4.5 billion. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Hillary Barsky, invested in you.
The Delta variant is spreading fast. All this week, Stinchfield details calls for new lockdowns, more masks, and even vaccination mandates. Watch Stinchfield tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern. He reveals the truth and the big dangers. Find Newsmax on all major cable systems like DirecTV, Dish, and Xfinity, or free on Samsung, Roku, Zumo, Pluto, and more. Also, download the free Newsmax app on your smartphone. Watch Stinchfield tonight. More than 30 million Americans are tuning into Newsmax because it's real news for real people.
Oh, shit.
With your KVFD Sports Report, I'm Rob Jones. Iowa State football coach Matt Campbell is focused on his team and not the long-term future of the Big 12 Conference. Texas and Oklahoma have announced they intend to leave the conference to join the SEC, leaving the future of the remaining 8 schools in the Big 12 in doubt.
My focus has been on zero of that, and to say it doesn't matter or I don't care is probably wrong, but to say that I thought once about it is probably right. My focus has solely been on our kids and our football team and making sure, we continue to do what we need to do in the present.
Campbell says the questions that surround future conference affiliation have not hurt the Cyclones on the recruiting trail.
People want to play for winners, and when you want to have success, people want to be around a program that's having success. And I think winning not only on the football field, but then also winning in, how are you developing your student athletes? How are we helping them with life after football? I think that matters way more than anything else matters. And I think sometimes we put too much thought into that, especially right now when, it seems like it's a very cloudy environment. Nobody really has any clear, vision of where this is going.
The comments from Matt Campbell are courtesy of Radio Iowa Sports. The Cyclones open their season at home September 4th, hosting the UNI Panthers. Former Iowa football standout Tristan Wirfs is going through a much different training camp as he begins his second season in Tampa Bay. Not only are the Buccaneers the defending Super Bowl.
Hey.
Business is built on connections. And with Square, you can connect every side of your business with tools that all work together, from your customers and your sales to your staff and your schedules. everything is in sync. So you can get a head start on shaping what's to come. See how Square can help connect every side of your business by visiting square.com/go/connect. That's square.com/go.
This is AM 1400, KVFT, the voice for Dodge. I'm Michael Devine. It's 4:37. Obituaries this hour brought to you by the historic Bruce Funeral Home at 923 First Avenue South in Fort Dodge. You may contact the historic Bruce Funeral Home by calling 515-576-5117 or online at www.brucefuneralhome.com. I'm sorry to report the death of Craig Ruby here of Fort Dodge. Mr. Ruby died on Sunday, August 8th at Iowa Methodist Medical Center in Des Moines. There will be a celebration of the life of Craig W. Ruby, and that'll be from 12 to 3 this Thursday at the VFW here in town. Memorials may be directed to directed by the family, and the historic Bruce Funeral Home is handling the arrangements for Craig W. Ruby. Obituaries this hour brought to us by the historic Bruce Funeral Home at 923 First Avenue South here in Fort Dodge. You may contact the historic Bruce Funeral Home by calling 515-576-5117 or online at www.brucesfuneralhome.com. It's 4:39 at AM 1400 KVFT.
Attorney Joe Cordell.
For many men, divorce brings a bewildering sense of loss. You feel adrift, isolated, like you're the only person in the world. But the good news is you're not alone. Cordell & Cordell is here to help. For more than 30 years, Cordell & Cordell has been there to guide men through all aspects of divorce, and we'll be there for you.
Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's Des Moines area attorneys. 666 Walnut Street, Suite 1710, Des Moines, Iowa, 50309.
R&R Well Company reminds you, when you're on the road this summer, there's nothing more important than what's in front of you. Most accidents happen when people are texting, daydreaming, or speeding. This summer, families and kids are out enjoying the weather, so stay alert, slow down, and give them a break. This has been a message from R&R Well Company in Fort Dodge. Experienced experts with state-of-the-art equipment for all well projects. Give them a call at 515-351-0968. R&R Well Company, on the air because they care.
Get ready for the Badger Lake Dragon Boat Bash this Friday and Saturday. The fun starts Friday night with the Awakening of the Dragon ceremony. Live music from Lone Tree Revival and fireworks after the concert. Gates open at 5:30. Tickets are only $5. Get them now at High Beer. Get them at the gate. Come back on Saturday. Enjoy a pancake breakfast and cheer on your favorite dragon boat as teams from all over the world race to the finish. Don't miss the fun at the Badger Lake Dragon Boat Bash this weekend on Badger Lake at Kennedy Park.
Michael Devine.
You're very clever, my charming little friend.
With more stimulating talk radio.
But not clever enough.
Minimizing grain loss. Hello, everyone. I'm Mark Dorenkamp with Managing for Profit, a content partnership with Claus. With commodity prices at levels not seen in almost a decade, the last thing farmers want to see is grain loss. Claus of America product manager for combine harvesters, Blake McCullough, says Claus can help maximize throughput and grain retention. And he tells Brownfield there are many ways to do that. More after this.
Imani wouldn't be here if it wasn't for St. Jude. Everything was perfect until that day when she was 5 weeks old.
So there was a fairly large and aggressive brain tumor, but St. Jude Children's Research Hospital gave us the ultimate gift in this world, which was hope restored.
And she's tumor-free now.
We came as two desperate parents, and they saved our daughter's life.
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
My daughter Brinley is here at St. Jude. Coming here was literally life or death, and it was so scary. But St. Jude is fighting for one goal, like this one mission, life. And that gave us hope. We haven't received a single bill from St. Jude, so I really can just focus on what's best for Brinley.
Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
Claus of America product manager for combine harvesters, Blake McCullough, says Claus combines can reduce grain loss because they feature large cleaning shoes, the ability to optimize threshing and separation speeds, and configurations for crops and conditions.
When you come into our machine, we don't funnel that crop down, so it allows for a very even, consistent thresh across the entire width of the machine. And then we were able to adjust separately that threshing speed away from our separation speed. So in conditions where you need to have more separation capacity and you're not in such a tough threshing crop, we can actually speed those rotors up or slow them down depending on conditions, opposed to our threshing speed, which no one else in the industry is able to do. So we really pride ourselves on being able to alter the machine configuration and settings for the exact crops and conditions we're in. So we're able to get that extra throughput through the machine because of the efficiency of our drives and the actual size of the inside of the machine. But we're not sacrificing the grain loss to get to that extra throughput. So we're able to optimize for those crops and conditions to ensure we don't sacrifice and give anything up to get to that throughput level that we want to get to.
He tells Brownfield the header plays an integral part when looking at grain loss.
And without having your header properly set, you really can't set the combine to its optimal performance. So you
That's right. We've got 60 rounds of freedom at all times. It's 4:47 a.m. 1400 KBFT Voice for Dodge. I'm Michael Devine. We're broadcasting from the Blue Ribbon Pelham Waters studio at 612 South 32nd Street. You may contact Blue Ribbon Pelham Waters by calling 576-6481. I'll be down at the State Fair next Wednesday and Thursday on behalf of the pork producers. I'm looking forward to that. Broadcasting live at the Iowa State Fair. It's going to be a big one this year because we missed the State Fair last year. I've been vaccinated. I got my Moderna vaccinations, and I feel confident in going to the State Fair without a mask. If a mask is required anywhere or everywhere, I will comply. There seems to be a different tactic taken by those who are or say they're concerned about the spread of the Delta variant of the COVID virus. Now, I will say again what I've always said since I had COVID last fall into the spring. Before I ever got COVID, I was mask compliant. I didn't like to be mask compliant. I wondered at that time, this was a year ago almost, I wondered at that time if it was really necessary to wear masks. But I always in the back of my mind thought, well, I certainly don't want to give the COVID virus to anybody else. That's the last thing I want to do. So to prevent that, even a chance from that of happening, at the time we didn't know much about the COVID virus, and I don't know if we do now. But I thought, well, I'm going to wear this mask. I'm going to wear the mask. And after I had COVID, I went along with the restrictions, the masking. I got my vaccinations. I'm fully in support of what those who are afraid of the virus and are urging people to get vaccinated. I'm on their side. I am not on the side of people, since I'm just not on the side of people who have chosen to call those who do not want to get vaccinated. I don't want to start calling everyone names. And that's exactly what's been happening recently. All of a sudden, everybody's frustrated because there are still people who won't get vaccinated. And they're just saying awful things. Mike Lupica this morning on MSNBC, a sports writer of all people, referred to Kirk Cousins as a bonehead. He even took a couple of shots at LeBron James. I mean, a lot of professional athletes. I mean, he just went on and on. Bonehead, stupid, this, that, and the other thing. Like this guy of all people was some sort of authority. Lupica is a sports writer, and he's been controversial at times for just this sort of thing. I will not be saying or making an accusation that anyone is stupid. If you decide to get your shots, terrific, I'm with you. If you decide to mask up, I'm with you there. If you decide not to, I think you have a choice. I'm pretty sure that you should make your own choice for your family and for yourself. I think as an American, you have that right. The military now are ordering their people to get inoculated. As a veteran, I'm a little uncomfortable with the government forcing you to do anything. Do you understand what I'm saying? Maybe I'm not making a powerful enough argument, but in the United States of America, we should have freedom of choice. Now, I know this is a tough call for me because I've had COVID. I was very ill, damn near died, according to the doctors. But I still insist that we have freedom of choice. And I don't think calling names is going to accomplish anything. I don't think calling anybody a name is going to get us anywhere, but they were all over the place on MSNBC this morning. Again, MSNBC, you know, they really think, I really think that MSNBC thinks of itself as some sort of rock star liberal network. I really think that they may. I really think that. Yeah, I mean, Joe and Mika, I mean, my God. They practically preen in front of the camera. Practically preen in front of the camera. It's laughable. And then they bring these Stephanie Rule, by the way, follows Morning Joe on MSNBC. And not surprisingly, as almost all people are on television, with the exception of Mike Lupica and Mike Barnacle. Stephanie Rule has now chosen apparently not to have a hairstylist work on her hair or use excess makeup. And she's dressed very plainly. I don't know if that's her personal statement on equality or equity or whatever. I don't understand that at all. But that's MSNBC as we know today. I'm going to read a new book called Killing Bill O'Reilly. I can't wait to really get the book. Since we don't have bookstores really anymore or Dodge, and that's regrettable. There's two things I've always loved: newspapers and bookstores. I'm looking forward to getting Killing Bill O'Reilly from Amazon. Now, if they had it in a bookstore here in town, I'd buy it here in town. So the story is the book is by two New York Times reporters who are going to find out exactly what happened with the Bill O'Reilly situation, because he was driven off air pretty quickly. Now, the New York Times did this big expose, did this expose about Bill O'Reilly and his supposedly coming on to women, sexually harassing women. Actually, what he did is hit on a woman who was an occasional guest on his show. And that got him, and the Murdoch family, the sons, decided that O'Reilly had to go because they're much more liberal than their father, Rupert Murdoch. And out Bill O'Reilly went. He went out with 25 million. But there was, and I haven't had a chance again to touch the book, but I'm looking forward to it. That's Killing Bill O'Reilly. I'll be interested to see what that all